Hello YouTube, I'm back with another video. I decided I was going to go ahead and just do it in two parts. I don't have no cards up like I would normally. I told Todd I would do a Brown showcase, but we're going to wait a little bit afterwards, because I think it would be nice to do something like that while I'm breaking something. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and do the Nintendo 64 showcase right now. 1080 snowboarding. Duke Nukem 0 Hour. This game, I've always wanted it. I never played it back in the days. And now that I have it, it's a pain in the ass. It's not like normal, typical fighting games. Yeah, not like normal, typical fighting games where you deplete the entire life bar and you win. No. You can lose off of a simple slam, because what it is it's not, you have a life bar, but it goes off of points. There's a point system in place, so you know, whether you have a full life bar or a tiny bit of life, you can lose just off of one freaking move. Fighter's Destiny, by the way. So yeah, it takes some getting used to. Here's a game, it kind of sucked. I wish they would have done better for ECW, but ECW Hardcore Revolution. Yeah, I didn't like the gameplay back then. You'll start to notice back in the days it was either fighting games most of the time or wrestling, or both. Again, one of everybody's favorite, and they call this the poor man's version too, because you know, like let's say all the cinematics and all that is just taken out. Certain moves don't exist as they do in the arcade version, but Killer Instinct Gold. I remember I bought this just for the hell of it. We didn't have a Nintendo 64 at the time, so what it was is we went off to the card shop, because at the time we had our local card shop, and the local card shop not only sold cards, but he also bought systems from people and he sold them in his store. So we went over there looking for a Nintendo 64 just so we could play this game. Got a nice Pikachu edition one, which actually I could probably sell for a good price if I wanted to. There's a Knockout Kings. One of my favorite boxing games back then, Knockout Kings 2000. Too bad they don't do it much, but with the amount of boxers these days, it's kind of hard to make a decent boxing game. I believe I played Fight Night Champion. There was like only 8 or 9 different boxers. I'm like, wow. I have this for PlayStation 2. If you guys watched my PlayStation showcase, there's Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero. One of my favorite football games of all time, NFL Quarterback Club. This one's 2001 with Brett Favre on the cover. Pokemon Stadium. You have a connector for that game, so you can use your Pokemon from red, white, and yellow in the game itself. Here's a good one. Ready to Rumble Boxing. Everybody loved this shit. Too bad they didn't make any more games. You know, maybe Midway, now that they're NetherRealm, maybe they should try to make another boxing game. That'd be pretty cool. Like I said, Ready to Rumble is fun, especially when they came out with 2. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Shaq, Michael Jackson. They are all in this game. Of course, Bill Clinton will be called Mr. President, and Hillary was called First Lady in this game. But they're in there. Especially Michael Jackson and Shaquille O'Neal. They're in this boxing game right here. And you're the main boss. In this one, the main boss is Michael Buffer, the ring announcer. Yeah, he becomes Rumble Man. Transforms into Rumble Man. Here's another fun one. It's harder to play if you play the 2-player, but 1-player, This is one of the best games on Nintendo 64. South Park. It's a first-person shooter style. Evil turkeys have taken over South Park, followed by evil robots. Evil robots was the final 5th level. But yeah, try this shit out for yourselves if you guys can manage to find a copy. It's really, really fun. WCW Backstage Assault. You don't fight in the ring at all, whatsoever. It's all backstage, in backstage areas. Parking lots, locker rooms, bathrooms, concession areas. You name it, you're gonna fight there. You just don't get to fight in the ring. Underrated fighting game. One of the most underrated fighting games I think of all time. Too bad it was a one and done by Midway. I don't know what they were thinking there. This game had potential. War Gods. Why they didn't make another one is beyond me. Hell of a game. Yeah, this was also made the same way ECW Hardcore Revolution was, except this came first, and it's a piece of crap as far as I'm concerned. But the only reason to own it, and it also comes in Game Boy Color and PlayStation versions too. But the only reason to own this game was dedicated in the memory of Owen Hart. May he rest in peace. Okay, WCW Mayhem. This also comes in the Game Boy Color version. I played the Game Boy Color version more than I played this copy. I have yet to really mess around with it, so maybe I'll connect it one day and see what's up. Okay, this is a bad one. The copy for PlayStation 1 was just complete garbage. It had a bunch of characters that were pointless, like Halloween costume characters, and going as far as people who worked on the video game. You only get like a total of 40 actual wrestlers. This one has 80 characters, and they're all wrestlers. Why did they make the Nintendo 64 version better than the PS1 version? Okay, and there's another difference between this one and the PS1 version. PS1 version, you can hit the Y button and they'll do a little rant. They'll come out and just talk shit. While this version doesn't have the rant option. You can't push a button and see a little cinematic. I think that was the limitations that the Nintendo 64 had, was there wasn't really any cinematic stuff. But yeah, WCW Nitro. Possibly one of the greatest games, as far as I'm concerned. It's probably the greatest game to me, especially when it comes to wrestling games at the time. WCW NWO Revenge. I used to really love the Battle Royal mode. And here's the first wrestling game for, here's the first wrestling game for Super Nintendo. Nintendo 64. WCW versus NWO World Tour. Now, the thing about these is they're actually virtual pro wrestling games, both of them. But since WCW had they had a contract, they were able to get these copies as WCW games rather than the USA getting virtual pro wrestling. Here's technically everybody's favorite wrestling game for Nintendo 64. WWF No Mercy. Personally, I wasn't that much of a fan of this game, but you'll see the one that I actually liked more than that one in a bit. Of course, the one that started it all, WWF Warzone, featuring Stone Cold Steve Austin. There's also a copy for the PlayStation 1. This, without a doubt, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest wrestling game I ever created for Nintendo 64 when it comes to WWF. WWF WrestleMania 2000. Hell of a fucking game. Anyways, wow, this one took longer than the Super Nintendo did. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Laters.